So my name's Scott Mitchell. So I had a background in retail and restaurants, and back in 2015, I became the manager of a store on Cherry Street called Travis Jean. That later became Travis Jean Emporium, and then I actually purchased the store in the end of 2017 and became the owner of that store in 2018. As the owner of that store, I really wanted to change the concept some and make it more me, and so it became the Bohemian Den. And as the Bohemian Den, I became the first certified LGBTQIA+ enterprise in Middle Georgia. And then that same year, I won the Out Georgia Business Alliance Small Business of the Year, which is a statewide chamber of commerce for the LGBT community. We grew and moved to the corner of Cherry and 3rd, and then this space became available in mid-2023. I called my friend and said, we can't not have a dessert shop downtown. And she said, well, buy it. And I was like, I don't know that I want to do that. But then the more I thought about it, I went home, talked to my husband about it, and another friend of mine said, if you ever come up with a name, you're gonna do it. And I was like, well, that's easy. I mean, I'm gonna name it after my grandma. And Sweet Eleanor was born. She grew up in a mill village in Griffin. She met my granddaddy at a very young age, and they moved to the country. My granddad had a farm, and she was not a farm individual. And there's pictures of her like out on the farm in dresses, and she just, I was like that, you know? And so they might have lived in a farmhouse, but she had a piano in the living room, and she, I always thought of her as being fancy. She went to Broadway shows with me. She went to like musicals and theater, and she really enjoyed that. She loved going to coffee shops, and like anytime we would go to Atlanta together, we'd stop in at a coffee shop and have coffee. And she really just was that person for me. And so I had a really cool relationship with her. We went and saw Elton John together, went to lots of concerts and stuff like that. I mean, she was just she was just a really fun lady. And I love that I get to continue her legacy on in this way. So in planning this place, I knew that I wanted this wall over here to be a mural of my grandmother. I even knew the photo that I wanted to use for the mural. I gave it to an artist friend of mine, Kevin Lewis. He sketched it out for me. He added a red bird in the corner, which is my granddad watching over my grandma. And he created this photo that looked, this mural that looks just like my grandma. And we had our grand opening on November 1st of 2023, and she passed away on November 2nd, 2023. So she passed away the very next day. And so that whole entire time period in my life is full of like celebration and joy, but also like deep grieving and sadness, you know, surrounding that whole time. When I purchased this place, I bought it, so turnkey pretty much. So there was a dessert shop in here before that sold coffee. I bought the equipment and all the things. That was probably a mistake, but you live and learn. I wanted to do a hybrid model where we bring stuff in that just desserts, you know, to sell. But then I wanted to bake some stuff too. A lot of it was trial and error. We would just try different things. We still do a lot of that. Like if we're making, like, it's so funny, we made that caramel churros apple bread pudding up there. And we were like, I wonder if this is even gonna be good. You know, we were all like waiting for it to finish cooking so we could all try it, you know, and give it a thumbs up or thumb down. I love doing things where I can interact with customers. I love talking to people, getting to know my customers. I think it's so important, especially in the climate that we're in today, to really be a part of your community, just not in your community. You know what I mean? I'm also the founder of Making Pride. And Making Pride was founded sitting around a place like this in a coffee shop. Coffee shops in America have a tendency to be inspiration hubs, you know, like spaces where ideas can grow. And I would love for Sweet Eleanor to be that place here in Macon. There have been so many things I wanted to do throughout my life. Like, I mean, in high school, I was 100% convinced I was going to be an English teacher. I mean, that lasted maybe one semester in college and I changed that. I've never seen myself always doing anything. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, whatever that is in the brain that clicks for some people, I don't have that. Also, another really huge headache this year has been the rise in coffee prices. And so coffee is super expensive right now, especially from Brazil. But then other things like drink recipes and stuff like that, we pretty much had to come up with those ourselves, you know, and we did a lot of research on, you know, like things you don't think about, like how many pumps of syrup go in a small, medium, and large, you know, like what, how many ounces of chai mix do you use per, you know, like just things like that. You have to teach everybody. For me, that's what's more important, is just continuing to do the best that I can every day. And how can I help people out in my community? You know, like so I have this space, like what can it be used for besides just a coffee shop? Like what can happen here that may change the community? You know, like are there meetings, are there groups that can happen here? Are there, can this be a space for X, Y, and Z, you know? And so that's more what I'm always thinking about.